Welcome to the educational portion of the video. You can go to my website, www.erichaugenguitar.com, for tabs of this lesson and other things you see me play on YouTube, as well as backing tracks and other information. Let me briefly talk about the equipment I'm using. This is a 1966 Fender Mustang with Tom Brantley custom pickups. I have them both engaged right now. I'm going into my board using my Strymon Deco for some compression, my Strymon Flint for some reverb, my Silvertone 1484, and then thank you to Rode Microphones for helping me out with this NTR active ribbon mic. Okay, this lesson is a continuation of other music theory lessons that I have online. We discussed major key intervals. We discussed minor key intervals. Now we're going to talk about, okay, what's that mean for our chords? So the purpose of this lesson is to empower us to be able to use that information, but look down at the chords that we're playing so that we understand what we're playing intervallically. So that progression is, and I purposely use seventh chords because they're neat, and I wanted to kind of also take a review of seven chords at the same time. It's an E flat major 7. That is 6, 8, right? Yeah, 7, 8. And for some reason today I'm using my fingers for this one. You don't have to. I don't know, I'm feeling fingeredy. Dropping to a little D minor 7. 5, 7, 5, 6. Dropping to a G minor 7. Flat across the 3s. Ring finger on the 5 of the A string. This is a G minor progression. I have certain pet keys that I really like, and G minor / B flat major is one of them. That's the essential progression. And by the way, any of the fills you see me do, since I'm on a minor 7th chord, which is really a minor chord, I'm using my minor pentatonic scale. That's where all any fills come from. That's how my brain works. If my hand does this shape, those things are all available to me. So any of the fills you see me play are out of that. Does that progression 3 times. Very like 1970s. Makes me think of that the theme song from that TV show Taxi. I don't think it actually bears any resemblance, but it does. The progression goes around 3 times, and then I want to put in a dominant 7th chord, so I put in a D7. Flat across almost all of them, not the low one. And then bring in 5, 7, 5, 7. That gives us, yeah, a dominant 7th chord. By the way, pro tip, if you have a Fender Mustang and the bar wobbles around a lot, I take tiny scraps of paper and I wedge them in there, and then I jam the bar in, and that's how I'm able to get this thing to stay. There's probably, I don't know, just a good couple of scraps. I also do the Jimi Hendrix thing of before I put the bar in, I've spent a lot of time with vice grips and a hammer trying to get this bar to kind of sit the way it sits, so it's really convenient for my hand. Because I think stock, they stick out pretty far. I think they go out and then out further. I'm like, well, how is that useful? I want it so I can get to it. Okay, quick review. Let's see, if we're in B flat major or G minor. Actually, let's not think of it that way. Let's think of each chord separately. The first chord, the E flat. We'll just pretend we're in E flat major for a second. Let's think about what we're actually holding. That's what I'm trying to empower y'all with. There's our root. There's our 5th. What is that? What is that note that we're actually playing? Do we know what it is? I will tell you. It's the major 7th, because by now, we've done our intervals. We should be able to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the 7th note away. And that would be the octave again. So there's the 7th in that, the major 7th in that chord. And then, it gets a little squirrely, because then you'd have to go, okay, there's octave, oh, okay, now there's the third up there because it started again, 2, 3. So there's our third. So that's, yeah, and these are called drop 2 voicings. To be honest, I forget why. There was a really smart mathematical reason, but it didn't stick. I don't remember why, but that's what these shapes are, the way they're like a power chord. The 7th is kind of after that, and then the 3rd is after that. So that means, oh, I don't know, if I want to mod this chord out, which is, you know, if something said if a chart said E flat major 7, add 2, I could be like, oh, okay, let's think. There it is, because yeah, there's the root. There's the next note away from the root. If the chart said E flat major 7 over B flat, I could do that. Grab that B flat down there. So it's like I'm trying to get it to a place where when you read a chart, you don't have to fret. Oh man, I missed that opportunity for a really good pun. All right, I won't worry about it. You get the joke. That you can look down and like be able to kind of adjust your chords accordingly, because you're not thinking of them as like some rote shape that you learned, but like, yes, they're a rote shape, but you also understand what finger is doing what job. Oh, E flat major 7 flat 5th. Oh, cool. I know, you know, I mean, it's like it's really liberating. Let's look at the D minor 7. There he is again. 5, 7, 5, 6. You'll oftentimes, let's see, we got our root, 5, there's our 7, and there's our 3rd, because let's think about this. Let's use a minor scale for this one because it's a minor chord. 1, 2, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 6, flat 7, root. Sometimes you'll see a D minor major 7 written, which is telling you, hey, play a D minor chord, but with a major 7. There it is. There's that weird one, and you'll see that oftentimes coming. Kind of in the, they call that a line cliche, where it's that's in many, many songs, that kind of downward movement. Oh, let's see, let's go ahead and see what happens if we go ahead and change that 3rd, take that off. Now we got a D9, because we don't have a 3rd anymore. Or really, I guess you'd call that an add 9. I can go ahead and let's bring that 3rd back in. Let's flat the 5th. That chord you'll see a lot. That's in Beatles, Wilco, Radiohead, and of course jazz. That's the minor 7 with a flatted 5th. So rather than having to memorize what that is, you could just understand what it is, which I think is more better. Let's look at our G minor 7. Root, 5th, 7. Flat 3rd, 5th, root again. So that one, let's see, what can we do to that? We can go ahead and we could make it a sus4 by, let's see, if the 3rd is that B flat on the 3rd fret of my G string, I could bring him up, because again, minor scale. And yeah, bring my pinky down on that 5. Now I have a G minor 7, sus4. Let's see, G minor 7, flat 5. There's that. Oh, G minor. Let's see, let me add a weird note that's not really in the key. I can add the raised 6th. You'll see that one a lot. That's the 5th fret on the B string there. Very kind of wonky chord. I can add the 9th if I go all the way up to the top and add the 5th fret there, because 1, there's the 2nd degree of the scale. A lot of times you'll do it at the end of a song because it gives you that kind of very James Bond kind of quality. Let's see. Oh, and the other chord, let's look at, there's a D7 in there. Let's use, well, Okay, let's just look at it. Root, 5th, flatted 7th, major 3rd. That's what makes a dominant 7th chord different than a major 7th chord. There's a lot of kind of overlap, like, because on a chart it'll just say 7, and a major 7 should say MA7, minor 7 should say M7. So there's a big difference in those personalities. Major 7 is very jazzy and kind of floaty. It's kind of happy / sad. That's that E flat major 7. I think of it also as like the girl from Ipanema chord. Now, minor 7, this one is very smoky and jazzy. Like, I always just think of like some like cool old jazz musicians. Hey kid, let me tell you about love. That's what I hear when I hear the minor 7 chord. And then the dominant 7, which they never put DOM in front of it, the 7 is that kind of bluesy. Three very distinct personalities to keep separate in your mind. If I want to make this D7 sus4, let's see. Root, 2nd, 3rd, there's my 4th. Ooh, cool. Oh, if I want to flat the 5th. Might sound cool, depending on the song. What else can I do to this that gets commonly done? I think I could go ahead and add the 6 up top. Yeah, I flattened out my pinky to get that 7 there. You don't hear that too much, that specific one. Maybe you do. But I would encourage you, that was with these chords. I would encourage you to, even with your boring old, cowboy chords, take another look at them and make sure you know where the root, the 3rd, and the 5th are, or any of these chords, so you can kind of understand who can get moved and what happens when you move them. That's what I'm trying to empower you with. I hope that's interesting and helpful for you. Thanks for watching.